Would you close down the
By
oil
the way, I
industry?
would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I would
that's
transition.
a big statement.
It is a big statement.
That's a big
because
statement.
I would stop.
Why would you do that?
Because the oil industry pollutes significantly.
I see.
Here's the deal. But
That's
you
a
can't
big
do
statement.
that. Well, if you let me finish the statement, because it has to be replaced by renewable energy over time. And I'd stop giving to the oil industry, I'd stop giving them federal subsidies. He won't give federal subsidies to the gas, excuse me, to solar and wind.
Yeah.
Why are we giving it to oil industry?
We actually do
All
give
right.
it to solar and wind.
We
And
have
that's
one
maybe the
final
biggest
question.
statement in terms of business. That's the biggest statement.
Okay.
Because
We have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question,
is he is
Mr.
going to
President.
destroy the oil industry. Okay. Will you remember that, Texas? Will you
Okay.
remember that, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma?
Vice President.
Why would you do that? Yes, even liberal debate moderator Kristen Welker last night was shocked at Joe Biden's statement that he would end the entire oil industry. And by the way, that would also, when you end the entire oil industry, that also means you end fracking. Hello, Pennsylvania. Anyway, in a history of presidential debates, until last night, the biggest gaffe was probably considered to be when in 1976, when Gerald Ford stated there was no Soviet domination in Eastern Europe. I think he meant the spirit of the people there. But anyway, that's sort of been considered the biggest gaffe in a presidential debate. But last night's gaffe by Joe Biden promising to end the entire oil industry, that overwhelms it. I mean, that's people's jobs, livelihoods. That was the mother of all gaffes. And yet, when you see the media spin, for the most part, they don't even mention that. It's like it didn't happen. It's like what they're like here. A typical example. Let's take a look at John Dickerson of CBS News. Pretend there was no gaffes. What gaffe? There was no gaffes by anybody, either candidate, especially by Joe Biden. There was no gaffes whose name I won't mention. Let's take a look.
Usually what political scientists will tell you is that the needle only moves when somebody has a big gaffe, like the president's behavior in the first debate that polls showed us people didn't like him constantly interrupting. In this case, both sides can claim something for their side, but in a field where Joe Biden is leading nationally and in the battleground states, and where the president is having trouble with the coalition that elected him in 2016, a debate where there's not any big win for him or a big loss for Joe Biden is not what the president needs with the election a little more than a week away.
Right, there was no gaffe. Give me a break, John. And now we come to Never Trumper Mike Murphy, who thinks that Joe Biden actually might have gotten a little bit of a boost due to laughably what he calls low. He brings this up, low energy Donald Trump. This is hilarious.
Yeah, I think if anything, Biden might have inched ahead. Biden had a good debate. I think his best debate so far. He was tight. He was on message, and he got the kind of contrast he's looking for with Trump, that he's the uniter, he has empathy, he has a plan, he's a president. Well, Donald Trump kind of downshifted from maniacal Trump, in the last debate to, dare I say it, low energy Trump tonight. It was still kind of, Trump never really connected on anything. I mean, he got a few jabs in on Biden, but nothing that'll give him the traction he needs. I mean, Trump needs to understand that most Americans think a hunter is a ceiling fan.
Just keep pretending there was no gaffe by Joe Biden last night, the gaffes of all gaffes. Let's pretend he didn't say anything about destroying the entire oil industry. Let's pretend. And in that pretend category, let's now come to Jamal Simmons on Good Morning America.
Yeah, Joe Biden did what it is he needed to do. He was out there and he really just, he presented his case, and that was the case the American public wanted to hear, that he could be the one who had a plan for the American public and not get into some of those big fights that Donald Trump likes to get into, including about their kids, when Joe Biden didn't attack any of Trump's kids, even though Trump kept attacking Hunter.
Oh, It's going so well for Joe Biden. There was no gaffe. Remember, everybody, there was no gaffe. And let's not forget, even though it looks like Joe Biden probably lost Pennsylvania with his oil industry termination gaffe last night, there are many other states in which the oil industry is very, very important. Like, for example, number three, the number 3 oil producing state is New Mexico in oil production. New Mexico. Now, that's considered a blue state, but hey, it could be in play. Number 5 oil industry state, Colorado, also might be in play. It's just so funny that the media is in this alternate reality that Joe Biden never made a gaffe. Joe Biden never made a gaffe. Right. Anyway, I'll see you later.